Welcome to the Senior Techie Podcast. Today, we are looking at a topic that's a little bit different for us.
Yeah, it's a very different direction, but a really important one.
Exactly. I mean, usually we spend our time together figuring out how to feel empowered about using new technology, but today is really all about empowering communication.
Right, because at the end of the day, communication is the foundation of everything we do.
It really is. And, there's actually a very special connection to our community here. So Paul, the creator of the Senior Techie, he actually grew up stuttering.
Oh, I actually didn't realize that. That brings such a vital human element to the strategies we are talking about today.
It really does. But before we get into how someone manages a stutter, I think we should probably define some of the technical jargon. Like, what is the actual difference between a typical disfluency and a neurological difference?
Right, so the best way to picture it is think of a typical disfluency as a brief traffic jam.
Oh, like when someone just says, or...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
You are driving on a direct familiar highway and you just get temporarily delayed by a quick traffic jam. But a neurological stutter means the brain's communication wiring is physically laid out totally differently.
Oh, so it's not the same highway at all.
No, it is like a unique, custom-built switchboard. So instead of taking that direct route, the speech signal gets routed through the emotional and motor control centers first.
Which basically creates a physical bottleneck.
Exactly. It's a fundamental physical difference in how speech is processed.
But wait, I have to push back on that a little bit. Doesn't nervousness or just being really shy cause a stutter? I feel like that is what everyone assumes when they see someone struggling to speak in a boardroom.
I am so glad you brought that up because no, it firmly does not. That is probably the biggest myth out there.
Really? So anxiety doesn't cause it at all?
Not even a little bit. Stuttering is entirely neurological. It has absolutely zero link to a person's intelligence or their confidence or bad parenting.
Wow, okay. That is a huge misconception.
It is. I mean, it actually affects 1% of the global population.
Wait, 1%, so that is what, like 80 million people?
Roughly 80 million people, yes. And about 60% of people who stutter actually have a family history of it, so it is very genetic.
Okay, but what about the anxiety? Because you do see people who stutter seeming anxious in high-pressure situations. Do we have the causality backwards?
We have it totally backwards, yeah. If a person who stutters feels anxious, that anxiety is a reaction to years of navigating a world that reacts poorly to their speech. The environment causes the anxiety, not the other way around.
That completely shifts the perspective. So if it isn't a flaw in confidence, how do people navigate highly verbal environments? The traditional workplace doesn't exactly seem built for a unique neurological switchboard.
Well, self-advocacy becomes critical there. People who stutter can request ADA accommodations to level the playing field.
Oh, the Americans with Disabilities Act. What kind of accommodations would they ask for?
They might ask for alternative ways to contribute, like relying more on follow-up emails or chat participation rather than just rapid-fire speaking in a meeting. But there are also in-the-moment techniques, like voluntary stuttering.
Wait, voluntary stuttering? How does that work mechanically? Why would they do it on purpose?
It sounds counterintuitive, but by voluntarily stuttering on the first word of an interaction, the speaker intentionally releases the neurological pressure valve.
Oh, I see. They're not spending massive amounts of cognitive energy trying to hide it.
Exactly. Releasing that pressure ironically smooths out the rest of their speech, and it immediately diffuses any tension in the room.
They're just taking the power back instantly.
Yeah.
And, when you look at the icons who have turned this challenge into a strength, it clearly doesn't hold anyone back.
Oh, absolutely.
You have President Joe Biden, the legendary voice of James Earl Jones, and the actress Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt has that brilliant motto, right?
Yes, her motto is, "Give them your best stutter." I just love that. It is so empowering.
It really is. And seeing these highly successful figures own it completely changes how society views stuttering, which actually perfectly mirrors a massive shift within the stuttering community itself.
Oh, right. The National Stuttering Association recently made a huge change. They renamed their annual campaign.
Yes, they changed it from stuttering awareness to stuttering acceptance.
Because awareness just isn't enough anymore, right?
Exactly. The goal is to encourage people who do not stutter to actively listen, rethink their assumptions, and create genuinely inclusive spaces, rather than expecting people to just fix their speech.
Which brings us to a thought we want to leave you with today. The next time you speak with someone who communicates differently, how can you shift your own mindset from merely waiting for them to finish to true patient acceptance?
That is a wonderful reflection for all of us.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to receive their free newsletters, you can subscribe at subscribe.theseniortechie.com.